you're the director of this mission of INRIA, of coordination of the National Program of Research in AI. And beforehand, you were president of the French Association of AI a long time ago. You work for ANR, the National Research Agency. You directed 2 of the INRIA Center in Rennes, Bretagne, for 4 years. And then in Saclay, Paris-Saclay. You coordinated the white paper on AI published in 2016. And now, well, your task is an important one. So you have the floor.
Thank you.
Sorry, I take this.
Good. Can I have the slides, please? Thank you. So, yeah, where do we go with AI in our society? This is my short keynote this morning. So I will first, it should not be blue. Okay, you will have a lot of blue. Any way to get rid of this blue? We will see. So the colors of the slides will be interesting, but never mind. Okay, so quickly, what is the AI's impact at the moment? Yeah, a lot of blue. So in many application domains, there is a lot of impact of AI. This is an example in health with the company Therapixel, which won the digital mammography challenge a few months ago, and so they are now developing their products for radiography treatment. We, just to mention also another one in France, Terra Panacea, which is optimizing cancer treatment also by using a lot of deep learning. So health is, of course, a big domain for AI. Music creation, creativity. So this is from 2 years ago, I think, when François Pachet was the first one to show something that was composed by an AI, in this case, something which sounded more between Beach Boys and Beatles. But this year, you have probably noticed Huawei, where they finished the Unfinished Symphony of Schubert, and also a lot of records have been done with AI, and also films, scenarios, etc., paintings. Drive a car. This one is announced to be level 5, which is a top autonomicity level for a car. I'm not sure, but they say that they are able to conclude level 5 tests on public road. Probably not in very complicated arrangements, but still it's impressive arrangement. Recently, for example, Peugeot PSA announced that they will not go beyond level 3. So yeah, we have to see what will go on with this. Games, of course, games have been also very much addressed by AI. So the last one is Starcraft. I'm not an expert in Starcraft at all. So Starcraft, which was beaten by DeepMind. So after having won in Go, in chess, and other games, a lot of Atari games, etc. in the past. So yeah, and also in defense and security. If you haven't seen on YouTube this small movie, Slaughterbots, I encourage you to look at it. It's 8 minutes, done by Stuart Russell. So this is an example of autonomous weapon, not exactly the one you are thinking about immediately. So this little device has cameras, face recognition, explosive, and it's able to do a lot of harm. So yeah, interesting movie, which is not true, of course. But also, okay, recommend a video, attribute a loan, make a decision on an investment. More and more in security and cybersecurity, identifying cyber attacks with AI, also helping for the blind, customized advertisement, etc. So many applications. So this is the status now. Every day you see more and more. So no surprise. Yeah, I think most of you know about it. I just want to talk a bit more now about what AI cannot do for the moment, with some examples. So this, the green hand is still green, very good. So the green hand shows that we know how to do that, we are good at it. So object recognition in images, for example, I don't say that it's completely solved, of course, but there has been a lot of progress. And so now since 2012, artificial systems are becoming better and better, all this with deep learning as opposed to traditional computer vision before. And now they go beyond human level, so they reach 2 or 3% of error rate, which is really impressive. So this is well known. I take advantage of the presence of my colleague Cordelia here to show that we are not yet so well for action recognition in videos, although there are some interesting works. So this is taken from your work, Cordelia. Huh? I think this is really much more difficult than recognizing object images. Recognizing actions demands more computing power, more data, and metadata, etc. So this is ongoing work, as you will probably confirm later. A lot of emphasis on image annotation. Image annotation is important, for example, for blind people. It's very good to have systems able to speak about what they see in images. So this is an example from CaptionBot from Microsoft. So very good. I think it's a group of people riding skis on a snowy mountain and then seem happy. I think it's rather well done. Huh? So you can use that. Not all the time, but frequently. And there are a lot of potential applications of, let's say, scene understanding in general. But situation understanding in general is not that good. You see another example here where the system says that it's also a group of people riding skis on a mountain. And of course, this is wrong this time. So some progress needs to be done. You'll see. Sorry, I missed. Yeah, I have to do the same. No, this one is not so good. Understanding, processing a question and answering. So you are obviously familiar with your personal assistants. You are able to ask them simple questions and they reply correctly. They process your question, but we cannot really say that they understand it. If you really try to see them understand something, you're asking many questions and see if they continue with a thread of questions and answer. And obviously they don't. In general, I think you can play a lot with your favorite personal assistants and see the limits at the moment. They are making progress, but yes, understanding speech in general is yet to be done. Learning correlations, especially blue correlations, once more. So this is what is currently done with machine learning systems. So you give some data as input, and in output, you get some answer. In this case, yeah, you recognize a cat from a dog. This is a very, very efficient learning system, so you can get an answer from it. But it's really learning correlation. It's not learning causality. Causality, for example, if you take this from the spurious correlation website, which is a very nice website, I would say, you see that with 95% confidence, you can predict the crude oil import from Norway you can predict the driver's kill in collision with trains from the crude imports from Norway. Okay, you can predict that, 95%, you can learn this. And so you give the number of, the total of crude oil imports from Norway in 1 year, and then you will get the numbers of drivers killed in a collision with train. It will work. Yes, okay. But you have not learned causality. Huh? Learning causality is much more complicated. So at the moment, it's really a big challenge for AI people, not to stick with learning correlations, as all the systems do, but trying to understand things. But this needs more than just putting the data in and out. Learning from millions of examples, this is how we do it, how people process image, speech, data, etc. So we give millions of examples, you train a big network, and then you get some answers. It's very efficient, but you need a lot of computing power. You use a lot of energy. And we don't do like this. Humans, we don't do like this. I suggest that you read the book by Stanislas Dehaene, which is called Apprendre. A very, very interesting book on how people learn and on how children learn and how machines learn. Very, very enlightening book. So this is taken from an example from an INRIA team in Bordeaux, where they try to learn with a very, very small number of examples by interacting with human users, which is, once again, it's called developmental robotics. It's much more difficult than just learning from millions of examples, but ultimately that will be very useful. Okay, I already talked about autonomous driving. So at the moment, most cars are level 2, I would say, or most autonomous cars, not most cars. Tesla says they're level 3, well, but they still have some problems, I guess. Going beyond level 4 and 5, where you can really sleep in the car and ask it to go somewhere and then let it drive you there. So as I said earlier, PSA just decided to not to do it. We will see how it goes in the INRIA's white book on autonomous and connected vehicles. We say that it won't be before 2040 for level 5, but we will see. I'm personally a bit concerned by level 4, which is the vehicle is able to behave everywhere, almost everywhere in all situations, but not in all situations. So imagine that you are driving on a two-way road and you are overtaking a big bus and on a hill, and then a car comes on the other side, and then the machine says, "Okay, I don't know, please do it." Please do it yourself and wake up and and save the car. I think we have to be careful about that. We are able to, people do weak and specialized AI, so like the Amazon Echo, the Google Home, etc. They do one thing very well. They process your request. They process your speech and are able to raise questions to databases, to other systems, to web-based systems, etc., in order to answer. But this is the only thing that they do. They just process your speech. They are not really that intelligent. Then the answer comes from normal processing systems. As opposed to strong and general AI, for example, with HAL in Space Odyssey, or this robot from Blake and Mortimer, where Professor Sato tells him to go and find Ulrich and kill him, etc. So this, in order to be able to do that, to do planning, environment assessment, replanning, action, etc., movement. So you need a lot of competences that are very, very difficult to reach. Propose decisions from data. So the systems are now able to propose, as Dominique said, by the way, most of our systems are now able to propose decisions on data on many subjects. But explain the decision proposed is, a lot of people are trying now to do this, but it's not yet done. And imagine the discussion with your bank's chatbot. Okay, did I get my loan? No. Okay, but can you tell me why I didn't get my loan? No. But why can't you tell me why I didn't get my loan? Well, because I'm an artificial system trained with a lot of data, and I cannot produce explanations. Okay, well, thank you. At least is there some kind of proof that your decision is correct? No, we are not able to prove any such systems. Or have you been certified by somebody? Oh, no, there are no certification possible for learning systems. So behind this, of course, you have this question of trust in systems. So if we don't get the trust, we won't get, the people will not accept the system, they will reject them. So we have to be careful about that. That might be the next winter. So big question for society. Huh? Some challenges for the society. At the moment we are working, and there will be some announcements probably later today. There is a G7 ministers meeting today on digital and on AI. They will start. I hope that they will announce sooner or later the creation of this panel, international panel on AI, which is more or less the same idea as the International Panel on Climate Change. So people wanting to work together on the big questions raised by AI. And let's say these are more or less the preliminary list of questions that this panel could debate in the following years. Everyone recognizes that these are the big questions at the moment. I say trustworthy AI, so explanation, proof, certification, validation, verification, all this. Okay, it doesn't matter if the AI system is only for advising you which movie to watch. Okay, you can just not like it and watch another movie. But if it's for operating a nuclear power plant, driving a vehicle, saying if you have cancer or not, or investing in yeah, you need some kind of trust. Okay, yeah. The big question of how we accept the delegation of decisions to machine. There will be a lot of decisions proposed by machines, okay, and there's a human operator behind, very good, but they might also take the decision themselves more and more. This is what the European Commission expert group calls human agency and oversight, so that we keep control of what goes on in this machine. So that's a very important subject too. Yeah, Dominique also mentioned the question of future of work and economic impacts. We have progressed since the paper by Frey and Osborne from 2013, which was looking at 700 jobs and saying this 20% will disappear in the forthcoming years. We know that it's not going to be like this. We know that it's more a question of tasks, not of jobs. So some tasks will be automated, but the jobs will probably remain. But in fact, we don't really know. So we need a lot of experimentation. At the moment, people are experimenting to look at how work is evolving thanks to AI. Question of biases and equality. This is very important. You know that when you train systems from data, if the data has biases, then you get the biases as output for your new data. So there's a big movement also in the AI community on how to analyze the data that we have and how to detect if there is bias, if it's biased or not. So a big research subject and a big subject for the society. And then, okay, cybersecurity and privacy, which is for all systems. Governance of data, since all this depends, a lot of these AI applications depend on data, then the governance of this data is very important. And it's only by addressing all those social challenges that we will be able to have and trust applications in all these key domains such as health, mobility, environment, industry, leisure, etc. A lot of people are writing about that. There's a big movement worldwide. So, for example, you have the Montreal Declaration from a few months ago. You have the European expert group, which published this ethics guideline for trustworthy AI a few weeks ago. The Japanese also have a document. Germany, they did a very nice document on the ethics of autonomous vehicles. That was a bit like something like 1 year ago. Sorry. Yeah. The GAFAM has started this initiative 3 years ago, the Partnership on AI also. And then I was talking about the creation of an IPCC of AI, which will be called the International Panel on AI, etc., etc. All these documents are really worth looking at. So the ethics guideline from the high-level expert group from the European Commission. This one from Germany, the Ethics Commission on Automated and Connected Driving, they involved car manufacturers, equipment manufacturers, etc. So they know what they are talking about. If you don't know about the AI Now report, Kate Crawford and her colleagues, every year they publish a report on the risks encountered by AI, the problems met, etc. Very interesting. There's one each year. This one was published recently. There's also this nice document completed for the Open Parliament by some colleagues at INRIA, Claude Castelluccia and Daniel Métayer, on what are the implications of algorithmic decision-making, so how we should address this question of delegating decisions to machine. Really full of information and interesting remarks. And last, but I think not least, this one is really not known, I think. In French. It comes from the Centre Interarmé de Concepts, de Doctrine et d'Expérimentation, so that's the French Army think tank. And it's a 30-page document, but on page 25, more or less it says in a very sophisticated way that the French Army should not make autonomous weapons, don't make killer robots. And this is what the minister said when she was giving her speech on her AI plan 1 month ago in Saclay. So she more or less was building on the recommendation made by this document. So that for the moment, and I'm pleased about that, France is not intending to use autonomous weapons. So just a few words about what I'm doing at the moment. We are addressing this in France, so we are not the only ones, but we try to be among the best. So what for the National AI Research Program, we want to be one of the top 5 in AI in the world. So concretely, it means that we want to be number 5, because the four first seats are really difficult to reach. USA, China, UK, etc., Japan. We want to make France the European leader in research in AI, so we are putting a lot of efforts into that, and we are mobilizing the entire system. So this is just a global view of everything that we do. Of course, the main action is well known here, which is the network of 3 IA institutes. There's one in Grenoble, MEAI, and I know that Eric Bossier, the head of this institute, is here, and we will be talking later. So 4 of these have been selected, as you probably know: Paris, Grenoble, Toulouse, and Côte d'Azur. But also a lot of other measures like research and education chairs in other sites, like a lot of new PhDs. We want to double the number of PhD students in a few years. Computing facility, all this needs a lot of computing facilities, so there's the first computer installed this year. It's now being tested at INRIA. It's a 14 petaflop machine with 1,044 GPUs, which will be open to the community. And in a few years, there will be the second level, the European level, with a big, powerful machine. We put more money into ANR for supporting AI, and also we emphasize the cooperation, international cooperation, in particular with Germany, and also some other measures for different, less important things that I will not mention, although they are quite significant. And just a small words on the AI challenges. So there's a lot of interest on these challenges. 2 of them were selected a few months ago. One is on what is called the reliable and certifiable AI. It's 30 million funding for that, and the other 30 million funding is for improving medical diagnosis with AI. And the third challenge, which was just selected a few days ago, is not totally AI. It's totally AI. It's a challenge on cybersecurity, but it will involve a lot of AI. So with this, I will stop, and thank you.